Devin Hobbs stood in the bathroom, holding the orange prescription bottle in his hand. The label read clearly, Mabel Boyd, take 1 tablet daily. The medication name meant nothing to him at first glance, some chemical compound with too many syllables. But it definitely wasn't allergy medication. His wife had been taking these pills every morning for 6 months, always with the same explanation. Just my allergy meds, she'd say cheerfully, washing down the small white tablet with orange juice. Doctor says I need to stay on them year-round now. Devin had never questioned it. Why would he? Mabel had suffered from seasonal allergies since they'd met 5 years ago. It made sense that her doctor would prescribe something stronger. Except now, standing alone in their bathroom while Mabel ran errands, Devin had looked up the medication name on his phone. The search results made his stomach drop. Norethindrone acetate. Birth control. Specifically, a hormone treatment used primarily to prevent pregnancy, though it had other applications. But the dosage on Mabel's bottle matched exactly what was prescribed for contraception. Devin sat down on the edge of the bathtub, his mind racing. They'd been trying to have a baby for 8 months. Mabel had been the one to bring it up, actually. Last spring, she'd stopped taking her regular birth control pills and announced she was ready. I want to start a family with you, she'd said, eyes bright with excitement. Let's make a baby. Devin had been thrilled. He'd wanted children for years, but had waited for Mabel to be ready. They'd tried every month since then, with Mabel tracking her cycles, buying ovulation tests, even changing her diet to improve fertility. But if she'd been taking birth control this entire time? He pulled out his phone and called Mabel's doctor's office before he could overthink it. Dr. Lori Atkinson had been Mabel's physician for 3 years. Devin had met her several times. Northside Medical, how may I help you? Hi, this is Devin Hobbs. I'm calling about my wife, Mabel Boyd. I have a question about her prescription. One moment, please. Soft hold music played. Devin's heart hammered against his ribs. Mr. Hobbs? A different voice now. This is Christina Springer, Dr. Atkinson's nurse. How can I help you? I found my wife's prescription bottle, and I'm confused about what it's for. She told me it was for allergies, but when I looked it up, I'm sorry, Mr. Hobbs, but I can't discuss your wife's medical information without her consent. HIPAA regulations. I understand, but I'm her husband. This is important. Is there any way? The only thing I can tell you is that if you have concerns about a medication, you should speak directly with your wife. I'm sorry I can't be more helpful. The line went dead. Devin sat there, phone in hand, the prescription bottle in the other. Christina Springer's voice had been careful, almost too careful. Like she knew exactly why he was calling and couldn't say what she wanted to say. His phone buzzed with a text from Mabel, grabbing lunch with Kendra. Be home around 2. Love you. Kendra Burnett was Mabel's best friend from college. They had lunch together at least twice a week. Devin looked at the clock. It was just past noon. He had 2 hours. He went to their bedroom and opened Mabel's nightstand drawer. He'd never snooped before, had never felt the need. But standing there with that prescription bottle, he realized he didn't know his wife as well as he thought. The drawer contained the usual items: lotion, a sleep mask, old receipts, a journal. Devin hesitated at the journal, then picked it up. The guilt of invading her privacy warred with the cold suspicion spreading through his chest. He opened it to a random page dated 3 months ago. Met with Austin today. He asked again when I'm leaving. I told him I need more time. Dee still doesn't suspect anything. The pills are working perfectly. He actually believes we're trying. I almost feel bad, but this is what I need to do. Once the money is in place, I can start my real life. Devin read the entry 3 times, each word hitting like a physical blow. Austin. Money. Real life. Mabel was planning to leave him, and she'd been lying about trying to get pregnant while actively preventing it. He flipped through more entries, hands shaking now. The journal went back almost a year. The early entries were mundane: work complaints, dinner plans, thoughts about a TV show. Then, about 10 months ago, the tone shifted. Met someone at the conference in Denver. Austin Goodman. We talked for hours. He's everything Dee isn't. Ambitious, successful, exciting. I know I'm married, but I can't stop thinking about him. More entries followed, chronicling an affair that had started as an emotional connection and quickly became physical. Mabel detailed hotel meetings, secret phone calls, plans for a future together. But what made Devin's blood run cold were the later entries about money. Austin says I need to be smart about this. Take half of everything before Dee realizes what's happening. The house appreciated a lot. my share would be significant. Plus, there's Dee's retirement account, the savings. Austin helped me open an account Dee doesn't know about. I've been moving small amounts each month. Nothing he'd notice. Devin set the journal down carefully, afraid he might throw it across the room. His hands were trembling with rage. 10 months. Mabel had been planning this for 10 months. The baby talk, the excitement about starting a family. All of it had been a lie to keep him complacent while she positioned herself to leave with as much money as possible. He pulled out his laptop and checked their bank accounts. Their joint checking and savings looked normal. But Devin knew how to dig deeper. He'd worked in financial analysis before switching to his current job in data security. Numbers didn't lie to him. It took an hour, but he found it. Small transfers to an account he didn't recognize, starting 8 months ago. $50 here, $100 there. Occasionally larger amounts, $500, $1,000, always timed with bonuses or tax refunds that Devin wouldn't think to track precisely. In total, Mabel had siphoned off nearly $30,000. Devin sat back, his mind working through the implications. This wasn't just an affair. This was calculated, premeditated theft. Mabel had been systematically stealing from their marriage while pretending to build a future with him. The worst part? The pills. She'd made him believe they were trying to start a family, had watched him get hopeful each month when she'd faked disappointment that she wasn't pregnant, had probably laughed about it with Austin. His phone buzzed. Another text from Mabel, running late. Might be 2:30. Don't wait up for lunch. Heartsuit. Devin stared at the heart emoji. How many times had she sent him loving messages while actively betraying him? He needed proof. Hard evidence that would stand up if this went to court. The journal was good, but it was her private thoughts. The bank transfers were better, but he needed more context. Devin opened Mabel's laptop. She'd never been great with passwords, usually using variations of the same one. It took him 3 tries to get in, her mother's maiden name plus her birth year. Her email was a goldmine. Messages to Austin Goodman going back 10 months, exactly as the journal had indicated. But there were also emails to a divorce attorney named Evan Alexander, discussing strategy for filing. Mabel had consulted him 3 months ago, asking about how to protect her interests, how to maximize her settlement, how to prove that Devin's earning potential meant she deserved ongoing support. There were emails about the secret bank account, confirmations of transfers, even a message to Kendra Burnett. He still has no idea. I feel guilty sometimes, but Austin keeps reminding me that I deserve to be happy. Dee is such a nice guy, which almost makes it worse. But nice doesn't pay for the life I want. Devin screenshot everything, forwarding the images to his own email. He copied the journal entries. He documented the bank transfers. By the time he was done, he had a comprehensive record of Mabel's deception. Then he did something that surprised even himself. He called a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. Jerry Sherman, a family law attorney Devin had helped years ago with a data recovery issue. Jerry had told him, "If you ever need anything, call me." Today, Devin was calling. Devin Hobbs, Jerry said warmly when he answered. "It's been what, 3 years?" 4. "Jerry, I need help. My wife is planning to divorce me, and she's been stealing money and lying about trying to get pregnant while taking birth control. I have evidence, but I need to know what to do with it." The warmth left Jerry's voice, replaced by sharp professional focus. "Can you come to my office in an hour?" "I'll be there." Jerry's office was downtown, in a building Devin had passed 1,000 times but never entered. The attorney met him personally, leading him to a conference room with a view of the city. Devin laid out everything. The pills, the journal, the emails, the bank transfers. Jerry listened without interrupting, his expression growing more serious as the evidence mounted. When Devin finished, Jerry sat back and whistled softly. "This is one of the more clear-cut cases of marital fraud I've seen," he said. "Your wife has been engaging in what we call dissipation of marital assets, spending or hiding money in anticipation of divorce. The fact that she documented it all in emails and a journal is almost unbelievable. What do I do? First, we secure your assets. Today, right now, I'll draft an emergency motion to freeze all accounts and prevent any further transfers. Second, we file for divorce immediately, beating her to it. Third, we use this evidence to ensure you get a fair settlement, which, given what she's done, might mean she walks away with a lot less than she's planning." "She's been lying about trying to have a baby," Devin said, his voice rough. "Making me think we were building a family while she was actively preventing it. Is there anything we can do about that? Jerry's expression softened. Legally, it's complicated. But morally, it's one of the cruelest things I've heard. We'll make sure the judge knows about it. It speaks to her character and her willingness to deceive you on a fundamental level. What about Austin, the guy she's been seeing? If he knew she was married, we could potentially pursue a lawsuit for alienation of affection, depending on the state. But honestly, the best revenge is to make sure Mabel doesn't get what she wants. She's been planning to leave you with half of everything while hiding her own assets. We're going to flip that script. Devin nodded slowly. How long will this take? Weeks, maybe months for everything to finalize. But we can start protecting you today. They spent the next 2 hours drafting motions and strategy. Jerry worked with the efficiency of someone who'd done this 1,000 times, but with the intensity of someone who genuinely cared about the outcome. At 3 o'clock, Devin's phone buzzed. Mabel, home now? Where are you? Devin typed back. Had to run an errand. Be home soon. Jerry looked up. Are you ready for this? Once we file, there's no going back. Your marriage is effectively over. My marriage ended when she started lying to me, Devin said. I just didn't know it yet. Then let's get started. Devin arrived home at 4. Mabel was in the kitchen, making dinner, humming along to music from her phone. She looked up when he entered, smiling. Hey babe, how was your day? Devin studied her. The easy smile. The casual affection. How had he not seen through it? Interesting, he said. I learned some things. Oh yeah? Like what? He pulled the prescription bottle from his pocket and set it on the counter between them. Mabel's smile faltered. What are you doing with my medicine? I was curious what kind of allergy medication you were taking. So I looked it up. The color drained from her face. Devin, it's not allergy medication, Mabel. It's birth control. Which is weird, because I thought we were trying to have a baby. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Her eyes darted to the pill bottle, then back to him. I can explain. I read your journal. Devin interrupted. And your emails. All of them. Austin Goodman. The secret bank account. The $30,000 you've stolen. The consultations with a divorce attorney. Mabel stepped back, her face going from pale to flushed. You went through my things? You had no right. I had every right. We're married. Or we were. I filed for divorce this afternoon. The flush drained away again. You what? I filed for divorce. I also filed a motion to freeze all our accounts and prevent any further transfers. By tomorrow morning, you won't be able to touch any marital assets without court approval. Mabel's hands were shaking. Devin, listen, I know this looks bad. It doesn't look bad. It is bad. You've been planning to leave me for 10 months. You've been stealing money. You've been lying about wanting to start a family while actively preventing pregnancy. And you've been cheating on me with some guy you met at a conference. I wasn't trying to hurt you. Then what were you trying to do? Devin's voice rose despite his effort to stay calm. Because from where I'm standing, you systematically deceived me about every important aspect of our life together while stealing thousands of dollars. What part of that wasn't meant to hurt me? Tears started streaming down Mabel's face. I wasn't happy anymore. Austin made me feel alive. And I knew you'd never agree to a divorce, so I had to protect myself. Protect yourself? By stealing? By lying about wanting a baby? I'm sorry about the baby thing, she said, her voice small. I know that was wrong. But I panicked. You kept asking when we were going to start trying, and I needed time to get everything in place. Get everything in place to rob me, Devin finished. Let's call it what it is. Mabel wiped her eyes. What happens now? Now? You should probably call Austin and tell him the plan has changed. You should also call a lawyer, because you're going to need one. The evidence I have is pretty damning. You can't use my journal in court. That's private. Actually, in cases of marital fraud, I can. Jerry was very clear about that. Her face crumpled. This isn't how this was supposed to go. No, Devin agreed. You were supposed to blindside me with divorce papers after you'd hidden everything you could. You were supposed to walk away with half of our assets plus the 30 grand you stole, and I was supposed to be too hurt and confused to fight back. That was the plan, right? She didn't answer. The problem with plans, Devin continued, is they only work if the other person doesn't know about them. And now I know everything. He walked past her toward the bedroom. Where are you going? Mabel asked. To pack. I'm staying at a hotel until we can figure out custody of the house. My lawyer will be in touch. Devin, wait. He stopped in the doorway and looked back at her. The woman he'd loved for 5 years, planned a future with, trusted completely. She looked smaller now, diminished. "Did you ever actually love me?" he asked. "Or was I always just a placeholder until someone better came along?" Mabel's silence was answer enough. Devin packed a bag and left. Behind him, he could hear Mabel crying. He almost felt sorry for her. Almost. The divorce took 4 months to finalize. Jerry had been right. The evidence was damning. Mabel's attorney, Evan Alexander, tried to argue that Devin had invaded her privacy by reading her journal and emails, but the judge wasn't sympathetic. Mrs. Boyd engaged in systematic fraud, Judge Bradley Lang said during one hearing. She concealed assets, transferred money without her husband's knowledge, and actively deceived him about family planning. The manner in which Mr. Hobbs discovered these facts is less relevant than the facts themselves. In the end, Mabel was ordered to return the $30,000 she'd taken, plus interest. The marital assets were split, but not evenly. Devin received 60% in recognition of Mabel's fraudulent behavior. The house was sold, and Devin used his portion to buy a smaller place closer to work. Austin Goodman, it turned out, wanted nothing to do with Mabel once the divorce became public. Devin learned through Kendra, who'd called to apologize for not telling him about the affair, that Austin had been married himself and had panicked when legal papers started flying. He'd ended the affair immediately and gone back to his own wife. Mabel had lost everything she'd been planning for: the money, the man, the comfortable life she'd envisioned. She'd ended up renting a studio apartment and taking a second job to pay her legal fees. The Bar Association also investigated Austin for potential ethics violations after Devin filed a complaint. While the affair itself wasn't illegal, the fact that Austin had helped Mabel hide assets while knowing she was married raised serious questions. He eventually received a formal reprimand. 6 months after the divorce was final, Devin ran into Dr. Lori Atkinson at a coffee shop. "Mr. Hobbs," she said warmly. "How are you?" "Doing well, actually. Better than expected." She hesitated, then said quietly, "I'm glad you figured out what was happening. Christina told me you'd called about the prescription. We wanted to tell you, but we couldn't." "I understand." HIPAA. "Yes, but..." She looked around, then leaned closer. "Between us, I never liked prescribing those pills. Your wife told me she'd changed her mind about having children, but didn't want to discuss it with you yet. I advised her multiple times to be honest with you. When you called, I hoped it meant you'd found out." Devin smiled sadly. "I found out everything." "Good. You deserved better than what she was doing." After Dr. Atkinson left, Devin sat with his coffee and thought about the past year. The betrayal had hurt, still hurts sometimes, when he thought about the baby they'd never have, the future that had never been real. But he'd also learned something valuable. He'd learned he was stronger than he thought, smart enough to uncover the truth, brave enough to act on it, resilient enough to rebuild. A woman at the next table smiled at him. "Sorry, I couldn't help overhearing a bit. You're starting over." "Something like that," Devin said. "That takes courage. Or stubbornness. I haven't decided which." She laughed. "I'm Jody. Jody Tate. Devin Hobbs." They talked for an hour about nothing important: work, the weather, the terrible coffee shop music. When Jody finally had to leave, she wrote her number on a napkin. "If you ever want to grab coffee again," she said, "with someone who's not hiding a secret agenda." Devin took the napkin and smiled. "I'd like that." That night, he threw away the last box of Mabel's belongings that had been sitting in his closet. Old photographs, a sweatshirt she'd left behind, small items that had seemed too insignificant to deal with during the divorce. He didn't need them anymore. Didn't need the reminders of what he'd lost, because he'd gained something more important: himself. The prescription bottle that had started everything sat on his dresser. He'd kept it as a reminder, not of Mabel's betrayal, but of his own awakening. The moment he'd stopped being naive and started being vigilant. The moment he'd chosen to fight back instead of being a victim. Devin picked up the bottle and dropped it in the trash. He didn't need that reminder anymore either.